Greetings, comrades, and welcome back to World of Tanks with Comrade Commissar Jingles. I have returned from Russia, and what better way to celebrate my return from the glorious motherland than a replay with the stronkest of Stronk tanks, the mighty KV-2. They don't come much stronger. This is Iskaya, and he's bottom tier on a very small map with lots and lots of tier 8s. KV-2, however, does not care. KV-2's 152mm howitzer is the great equaliser. I have seen people in KV-2s deliberately fail platooning with tier 8 platoon mates in order to get themselves dragged into tier 10 games, and finishing top on experience and damage done. To a KV-2, a higher tier tank is simply a challenge to be accepted. No, you disagree? Okay, let's put it to the test. Iskaya is in a platoon of 2 tier 6 heavy tanks. There's his platoon mate in a VK3601H. Which tank would you rather be in? Not just in a tier 8 battle, but in a tier 6 battle. I think most people would say not the VK. I used to really like the VK when it was a tier 6 medium tank, not so much as a tier 6 heavy. Oh, hold on. First target spotted. It's a flat panzer. And first blood to the flat panzer. And that was a very disappointing return strike. Barely 300 damage done. Although his platoon mate in the VK does manage to land a follow-up shot. The flat panzer is not alone, however. There's also a Stuart Emil been spotted lurking around those bushes, but right now Iskaya wants to finish off that tier 6 tank destroyer. And of course, without even being fully aimed, scores a direct hit and claims his first kill of the match. But what about that Stuart Emil? There he is. He's put a shot into his platoon mate, and now he's pulled back into concealment. But top tip, if you're going to start moving back to be able to fire around the bush, at least wait until you're no longer spotted before advertising the fact that you're moving forward again. And there's kill number 2. But hold on, we are not done. Was that a Type 64 light tank we saw camping the back of the map? Well, of course it is. Where else would you expect a light tank to be on mines? And when he was last spotted, he was moving up to that very obvious bush around the side of the rock. Yep. Obvious concealment is obvious. Kill number 3. Now at this point the team are ahead by 2 kills, and they're very shortly going to make it 3 kills, but while they're ahead on kills, they're kind of scattered all over the map. You've got various different tanks camping the base. You've got Iskaya and his platoon mate who is going to fall over dead if somebody so much as farts on him. He's got such little health left. And everybody else on the team is kind of, well, scattered all over the place, whereas the enemy tanks are all mostly concentrated in one section of the map, and able to offer mutually supporting firepower to each other. Iskaya still has most of his health left, and from here he can do one of 2 things. He can either circle around and push up onto the hill, or he can make a move on the enemy base, possibly killing their artillery. But the problem here is an unspotted Tiger 131 who was last seen pushing up onto the hill. If he's still up there and not knowing how much health he has remaining, could make circling around and pushing up into the hill extremely hazardous. At the same time, if he is up there, and he is, that's going to make pushing into the enemy base extremely hazardous to the health as well. But he did seem to be backing off, perhaps going after the ELC even, and so Iskaya decides to go for it, and the Tiger 131 changes his mind and catches him square in the flank, reducing him to half health. But the Tiger didn't just reduce him to half health, he also spotted him for the M44 artillery. And the M44 has had plenty of time to aim, scores a direct hit, and causes Iskaya all kinds of problems. Immobilised sideways on in front of Tiger 131, and he does not use his repair kit. Seems suicidal, but you have to take a couple of things into consideration. First, he has 240 health remaining, which is 20 more than the average damage of Tiger 131's gun. But more importantly, he's got a teammate with him on even less health than he is. So, who do you think Tiger 131's going to shoot at? Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody saw that one coming. Although, strangely, Iskai's platoon mate didn't. The ELC even has finished off the M44 artillery. The team are still ahead by 1 kill, but with Tiger 131 still up on the ramp leading to the hill, there's no way Iskai can continue to push the base. In fact, he's pretty useless in this position. But only as long as Tiger 131 is guarding the ramp leading up to the hill. But looking at the minimap, he's not. He's actually heading up onto the hill, whether that's to try to chase out that ELC or get shots at Iskai's base. And so Iskai decides to go for it. And again, looking at the map, the Tiger 131's going the long way around. So Iskai has all the time in the world to make it across this patch of open ground and say hello to the 2 tanks that he blind shot killed earlier. Hello, Stuart Emil. Hello, Type 64. Oh, hello, SU-14. Perhaps a little overconfident as to the precise number of dissidents that he's sent to the Gulag, Iskai rushes his shot at the SU-14 too, and Stalin says nope. The SU-14-2's return shot, which was also equally rushed, misses by a narrow margin and causes minor splash damage. Now aware that he hasn't sent the required number of dissidents to the Gulag to guarantee that the cold dead hand of Stalin will reach up from the depths of hell and guide his shots to the target, Iskai knows he's going to have to actually aim his next shot at the SU-14-2. And while his teammates on the hill are busy kicking Tiger 131 to death, leaving only 3 enemies remaining, 2 of them spotted, and receiving a savage kicking from the rest of the team, Iskai decides that, well, now it's personal. Oh, SU-14-2 has fired, missed, hit the brick wall in front of him. Iskai decides to make his move. Now remember, he knows that he hasn't sent enough dissidents to the Gulag for Stalin to guarantee this shot, but he's got all the time in the world to aim and make sure it hits. There he is, and he stops, and he aims, and there's nowhere for this guy to go. 90% of the aiming circle on target, but RNGesus giveth, and RNGesus taketh away. You see, that's the thing about the KV-2. You can casually loft shells in the general direction of bushes that may or may not be concealing enemy tanks and score one-shot guaranteed kills 9 times out of 10. But the second the game thinks you're tryharding, well, never let it be said that World of Tanks doesn't have a sense of humour. Oh, the SU-14-2 has blown it again. To be fair, he's probably sweating a little at this point. And Iskai is going to do it properly this time. He sort of aims, but mostly doesn't. And that's how it's done. Just 1 enemy tank left, but he's spotted, and way, game over. 4 kills for Iskai in the stronkest of strong tanks. Strongest? Well, I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. There is certainly some competition. This is Ryo Takehara in another glorious Tier 6 Soviet death machine, the Su-100Y, or to give it its correct title, the Box Tank. I'd love nothing more than to be able to take credit for that name, by the way, because it is fantastic, but sadly it wasn't me, it was all Quickie Baby. It's the same with the FV-304, by the way, but the Avenger, the Tier 6 British artillery. I'd like to take credit for that one, and a lot of people think I came up with it, but no, that one was all circumflexes. I'm nothing but a plagiarist. Other people come up with cool names for tanks, and I just use them. Although, the Jaegeru for the Jagdpanzer E100, that one was me. Anyway, getting sidetracked. So, yes, Box Tank. It's a Tier 6 game. Oh, this is going to be fun. Hey, little tank. That's a nice bush you got there. Do you mind sharing it? Oh, it's a very popular bush. Everybody wants to use it. To be completely fair, it's not that big a bush, and this is a very, very big box tank. I'm not entirely sure you could hide behind it. But these 2 little tanks, well, you're going to need a pick a... You can't both hide behind it, guys. And if you're both trying, neither of you are going to be hidden. So this is very much a case of either take a shit or get off the pot. Team are up by 1 kill. And I'm not feeling too confident about those 2 little tank destroyers trying to hide behind that one bush. I don't think either of them are quite as well hidden as they might think they are. Oh well, time will tell. So, anybody seen any enemy tanks? Box tank hungers. Box tank must feast. Nothing over there. Oh, one of the little tanks has decided to go for a drive. So he's given up the bush to the other little tank. And very, very rapidly comes to regret that hasty decision, as he gets absolutely spanked while driving across the open ground. But who was it who was shooting at him? Nothing has been spotted. Oh, wait a second. You know when you can one-shot kill an enemy tank? And there are not many things in a tier 6 game that the box tank cannot one-shot kill. It does seem kind of like you're showing off if you go ahead and hammer rack him. I mean, you know, this would have been more than good enough. 2 shots, 2 kills. Box tank, it's just what it does. 440 average damage with this gun, with standard armor-piercing ammunition and nearly 200mm of penetration. 440 average damage. Oh, hello. But I think he got spotted. I'm not sure why. But yeah, 440. That's... Well, there aren't many tier 4 or 5 machines. In fact, I don't think there are any tier 4 machines that even have that much health. And there are certainly not many tier 5 machines that have that much health. And there isn't a single tier 5 tank destroyer that this thing cannot one-shot kill. And then, of course, if you use premium ammunition, you do 510 average damage, although you do lose some penetration. 25mm, I mean, who's counting? High explosive, 580 average damage, and you still have 96mm of penetration. And it was at that point that the Hellcat knew he'd fucked up. 3 shots, 3 kills. I think I'm seeing a pattern emerging here. You gotta love it when the Hellcat just sits there. I mean, it wouldn't matter what ammunition you were firing from the box tank, you're gonna penetrate a Hellcat. Your armour isn't going to save you. Your speed and mobility might, but not if you just sit there. Yeah, there was only one way that was ever going to end. There aren't actually many tanks on the enemy team that box tank can't one-shot kill. Well, there are 2. There's the OI Experimental, who's, you know, just basically doing what OI Experimentals do when they're top tier, and the Mark 7 Churchill. Box tank may have to rely on his teammates to soften up these targets in order for box tank to maintain its one-shot, one-kill record. At the moment the scores are fairly even, although the enemy team have just gone ahead by 1 kill, but well, box tank still has all of his health and he has plenty of ammunition, so this can still go either way. But pay attention to that M41 HMC on the enemy team with 9 health. I'm not entirely sure what it is that's reduced him to 9 health, but there's a very good chance it's not actually one of the tanks on box tank's team, and you'll see what I'm talking about very, very shortly. For the moment, box tank is looking at the big fat ass of that Mark 7 Churchill and going om nom 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 nom, particularly since it is now a one-shot kill for box tank. But while the Churchill is unaware that box tank is sitting here waiting for him to stick his big fat ass out, he's not sticking his big fat ass out, so that is a one-on-one between the Mark 7 Churchill and the KV-1S down there. And the enemy team are now ahead by 2 kills. The friendly KV-1S lost the duel with the Mark 7 Churchill, and an enemy Hetzer has taken out the Rudy tier 6 medium tank. It must be tier 4 day because the M8 tank destroyer comes out and takes a shot, but he's not quite dumb enough to sit around waiting for his gun to reload and take the second shot. The enemy Hetzer, however, flush with success after killing the Rudy, thinks he can take on any tier 6. Box tank says, I don't think so. 4th shot fired, 4th tank killed. But hang on a minute, Jingles. There are 4 enemy tanks left, shouldn't there be 5? What happened to the M41 HMC? Good question, well spotted, glad you asked. This is what happened to the M41 HMC. Don't know why, don't think it was intentional. The Lefeur only actually did 9 damage to him. I think the M41 was in such a panic to get away that he just drove into him and accidentally suicided, which is bad news for the Lefeur, particularly since box tank can see him. Was that aimed? That wasn't even aimed, was it? Not really. Where did the M8 go? That's what I want to know. Because I have to confess, he displayed remarkable levels of self-control for a tier 4 tank destroyer player when he found himself confronted with a box tank. He didn't just sit there blazing away at him, waiting to die. He took 1 shot and then got out while the getting was good. Look at that. Can't even see the target outline. Yeah, it doesn't matter when you're in the box tank. 6 shots fired, 6 tanks killed. And the M8 has just reappeared on the map, and well done to him. He's pretty much doing the exact opposite of what you'd expect a tier 4 tank destroyer player to do, dying uselessly in front of bigger guns, and has in fact disengaged, and he's going after the artillery. Good kid, well played to him. And he's getting away with it as well. Run, Artie, run for your life. Nope, too slow. Oh well, never mind. It's now 2 on 2. But one of those two is the box tank, and both the remaining enemies are now one-shot kills, so I know where my money's going. And I should hasten to point out that what we're not actually seeing here is somebody seal clubbing in a tier 6 premium, because Ryo Takehara, by his own admission, is a horrible scrub with a 46% win rate. And I do like seeing Joe Average doing well in a game of World of Tanks, or in this case even Joe Below Average doing very, very well in a game of World of Tanks. And you might argue that he wouldn't have been able to do this well if he wasn't in the box tank. And, well, yeah, okay, that's probably a fairly good... Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's not what you want to see when you come around a corner in a Mark 7 Churchill. And there's 7th shot fired, 7th kill. And the M8, bless him, is doing exactly what he needs to do. He's trying to use the mobility, but, well, no. And that's 8 shots fired, 8 kills, a Radley Walters medal. The first one he's ever earned for Ryo Takehara in the Tier 6 Premium Soviet Stronk tank destroyer, the box tank Su-100Y. I hope you enjoyed today's video, folks, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.